pick in this year's draft. Simon Nemec makes his preseason debut here at The Rock. When we come back, Devils, Islanders, puck drop next. Massive deal with the New Jersey Devils. Again, Dano, he is healthy, and it feels like a really important year for him now, second year in the system.
He hung around New Jersey most of the offseason, worked out hard, and I think he's really looking forward to leading the charge from the back end. Now, obviously, the injury really set him back. Started the year terrifically. Season went downhill. We know, we've talked about it, but Dougie Hamilton is going to be such a key component if the Devils are going to be a much better team this season. Look for him to put up some big numbers from the back end.
Opening face-off between Michael McLeod for the red-clad New Jersey Devils and Casey Cizikas for the white-clad New York Islanders, and we'll drop the puck all over again here 7 seconds in. Here is Vitek Vanacek. Said one of the things he was most excited for when he got traded to the Devils was what his mask would look like. Got it last week, and he was pleased with the results.
Isn't that the way it is now with these goaltenders? They have so many unique masks, and they get very creative as well, but great to see him in the net for the New Jersey Devils. He's really looking forward to this opportunity along with Mackenzie Blackwood. The battle to see who starts the season, but they're going to need both guys. We know that to play well. Devils
opening with their fourth line, Mason Geertsen, Michael McLeod, and Nathan Bastian. It's Bastian in the corner, guy who's hoping to move all up and down the lineup this year. Geertsen gets bumped off the puck by Cizikas over in the corner. It's a big, healthy check from Bastian banging into the glass. Islanders looking to break out. Matt Martin up the dashers, plays it in deep, and that's where Brendan Smith, another Devils veteran newcomer, takes over the puck for New Jersey. Geertsen chips it out. He'll head to the bench for a line change.
You talk about Brendan Smith. I mean, he's that type of defenseman that brings a lot of leadership, a lot of grit, compete, and that can be really infectious. Certainly in practice, he prepares well, and he's a leader. A guy that maybe not a high-end talent, but just a real good piece I think the Devils have been missing. I really look forward to seeing what Brendan Smith can do with this team as far as leadership.
Andre Palat plays it back toward Dougie Hamilton, comes around to Palat again, centering feed, looking for Dawson Mercer, and it's poked away. 2-on-2 the other way. Clean onside, Beauvillier tried to spin over the puck, lost it in the corner, and Hughes back checking, knocks it up towards Sebastian Aho at the blue line.
Now here's a line we're real interested in seeing. Now it's Mercer, it's not Holtz out there with Hughes and Palat, but it's a line that intrigues me a little bit, Bill. We'll see what transpires during this first preseason game between those guys and if they find any chemistry.
Holtz had been working with Palat and Hughes. Meanwhile, Mercer had been with Haula and Wood. It seems like maybe Mercer just got out ahead of his shift because now Haula and Miles Wood have joined him. Another newcomer, Eric Haula, 10th year in the NHL. He has made the playoffs in all 9 of his previous seasons. Miles Wood sending it for Mercer, and he fanned on it. Comes back to Thomas Hickey, the former Islander, who's on a pro tryout here during training camp. A blast from Simon Nemec, who is a rocket from the blue line. Comes around to Fabian Zetterlund.
There's the number 2 overall pick in the recent draft for the New Jersey Devils, and it's always exciting to get your first game in, preseason or not, just to get your feet wet and feel comfortable. And he gets a big blast that was deflected wide early on.
Offensive ability, Dano, to immediately make an impact on the power play, but you know, as an 18-year-old, it's so hard to adjust to the NHL game defensively as a defenseman that first year.
He's a very smart hockey player. I know Tom Fitzgerald, general manager, talked to him before the game, and he said he's real high in him just because of his hockey IQ, and his stick is very effective, but it does take time, obviously, and you want to shake the cobwebs, the nerves you have in your first game. But he did play in the Pro League last year in Slovakia. That gives him a little head start coming into this camp.
Lindy Ruff said the big key for him is learning the Devils system and where he needs to be defensively.
Yeah, there's the blast, and you see bodies in front, but he wasted no time to let it go. And yes, you got to learn a system. A language barrier as well, that takes time, but I think he will pick it up quickly because of his smarts on the ice, intelligent. One of the big reasons why he was drafted number 2 overall, just his all-around game.
Smith plays it in deep, comes around to the 4th line out there at the moment for the Islanders. That's centered by Kyle McLean today. Brian Pino centering the 3rd line for the Devils today. New acquisition out of the Capital system. Chips it back to the neutral zone. And it comes all the way into another Devils newcomer, John Marino. He was traded for this offseason. A real steadying presence on the blue line.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing John Marino solidify the top 6 there and just play a good steady game. He's very mobile, moves the puck well. You mentioned Kyle McLean. Well, I have to tell our Devils fans, yes, that is the son of great Devil Johnny McLean, who I played a long time with, won a Stanley Cup championship with as well. And he gets an opportunity here tonight in preseason. A real good, solid defensive player, kills penalties, and added a little offense as he got some time in Bridgeport last year.
Matt Martin flips this one out, one of those Islanders veterans. He has played 14 NHL seasons. Here is Alexander Holtz wristing one on, and Holtz's shot is denied by Ilya Sorokin. Comes around to Palat, so this is that line. Palat, Hughes, and Holtz played so well over the scrimmages the last couple days, with Holtz potting a couple goals. Nemitz dancing in. Look at those skating skills from the 18-year-old. Holtz high slot, leaves it for Jack Hughes. Over to Nemitz again in the circle. Great 5-on-5 possession from the Devils here as Nemitz's shot is blocked. Really well done by the vet Martin.
Yeah, that was Martin going down, timing it perfectly, but the Devils were dancing in the Islander zone. But we know Islanders one of the best structured teams in the league.
We've got our first penalty of the day, tripping call coming up, and we will see the Devils power play get to work for the first time. A unit that looks to be much improved, at least from the iterations we've seen in the first few weeks.
It's going to be the veteran Casey Cizikas as he trips up Palat, crossing right here through, gets the stick and flips up the skates a little bit. Tried to get away with it, but the referee saw it all the way. And that all started with a real good shift from the Hughes-Holtz Palat line. Nemitz was involved there. You saw some poise from him. You saw everybody crisscrossing, changing lanes, and causing some disruption in the Islander zone before Matt Martin blocked the shot. And then Cizikas took the penalty.
Devils start with the second power play unit. Here's Miles Wood, bringing it up all the way around to Eric Haula. Into the slot for Yegor Sharangovich, and it's cleared down the ice. Kyle Palmieri jumped on that loose puck for the Islanders. Very good PK team last year, and as you'd expect, always a sound defensive team with great structure under Lou Lamoriello. Barry Trotz, and now Lane Lampert in his first year.
Yeah, there's no mincing what the Islanders are all about. And when they have success, they're one of the tougher teams to penetrate, whether it's 5-on-5 or on the power play. They just really know how to play, and there's McLean.
In onside, McLean shot blocked by Zetterlund, takes a wicked hop toward Vanacek, and he's forced to slash it into the corner.
That looked like it was going to be a partial 2-on-1 for Kyle McLean. As I mentioned, he's a real good penalty killer, but the shot was blocked, and Devils have not got on track on this first power play just yet.
Well, now they cycle out the top unit, and this looks like a unit that could have some firepower. The lone defenseman is Dougie Hamilton. He's joined by Dawson Mercer, Andre Palat, Jack Hughes, and Alexander Holtz. Here's Hamilton. Mercer and Hughes overlapping. Hamilton straight away. Now Hughes back for Hamilton again. He can be so dangerous up here on the power play. Hughes broke his stick on the one-timer, and it ricochets into the corner.
He hustles through the Devils bench to get his stick. Another one, it's 4-on-4, and Hughes gets back on.
Ledoux is able to get it out, and Dougie Hamilton bats it down with a high stick, so that'll bring the faceoff back toward the Devils' end.
How often do we see that, Bill? That was unfortunate. Devils had good control in the Islander zone on the power play, and Jack Hughes tries to funnel one to Palat. I think it was more of a shot pass, but it didn't quite get there because of that broken shaft, and he had to go back and get a new one.
I know we're not playing with a full deck here. The guys who played yesterday for the Devils and all but one player who played yesterday for the Islanders getting today off. But what do you think about this first power play unit, particularly if maybe you mix a guy like Jesper Bratt into this fivesome moving forward?
Yeah, it could be deadly.
Hughes leaving it for Mercer, and it's cleared away. Good stick from Adam Pellick, who's coming off an all-star season last year.
You mentioned that power play, and obviously Bratt played very well in Montreal last night, setting up the tying goal to Tomas Tatar on the power play. It's got potential to be real good. Now it's about execution.
Palat got one on Sorokin, fought off into the corner. Puck sitting free near the blue line. Jumping off the bench, Michael McLeod charges in. 2016 first-round pick now in his 5th season. He spills it into the corner. Aatu Ratu, the 19-year-old that the Islanders staff is so high on, out there playing on the second line today. Ratu wearing number 43, harassing on the forecheck. Puck's turned over to Cizikas. Plays it behind net, and that's where Brendan Smith's back on top of it. Smith's pass forward gets to Geertsen. And this is Nathan Bastian again. Bastian said he was looking forward to a year where he's a little more relaxed coming in. Last year, obviously, the expansion draft sent him to Seattle. Was back to New Jersey. He said he never really got out of the hotel. This year, he's settled in an apartment, back with the guys that he enjoys playing with and spending time with.
It's a big camp for Bastian as well, with the Devils have much more depth with the young prospects, but this is a kind of an identity line the Devils would put together here, and a lot of beef, certainly with McLeod, Geertsen, and Nate Bastian.
Yeah, real traditional fourth line. Guys who can throw their body around if needed. Here's Pinot knocking one in deep. Comes to William Dufour, another youngster that the Islanders are high on. Good pass forward, and a score! Nikita Soshnikov just signed last week out of the KHL, and he puts the Islanders on the board.
Oh, a quick blast off the post, and Soshnikov gets the Islanders on the board. Take a look. The Islanders get it up ice quickly, and you see Soshnikov right there, the quick wrist shot up top. Beautifully placed shot down the wing. Looked like Vanacek might have got a little piece of it with his glove, but that is right off the post and in. Wicked wrister.
And Dano, that stretch pass came from the 20-year-old William Dufour. Dropped in the draft all the way back to the 5th round a couple of years ago, but he has been really impressive this training camp, turning heads during Islander scrimmages.
He's one of their prospects that they're very high on. You mentioned just a middle round pick, but his development has really skyrocketed the last couple of seasons. 56 goals last year in juniors, and now he makes a nice pass, and Islanders lead 1-0.
So he picks up the assist on the Soshnikov goal. Islanders lead about 8.5 minutes into preseason game number 2. Devils won their preseason opener in Montreal 2-1 yesterday. Islanders fell to the Rangers 4-1. Fell behind 3-0 really before they could settle into that game. Tried to kind of get their sea legs underneath them from the midway point of the first period on. There's Sorokin behind net. Hasn't really been tested much yet. Polak working it up to the corner, and Ratu. Another guy who fell a bit, a 2nd-round pick. He was projected to be a 1st-round pick, so the Islanders have gotten some good value with those middle-round picks. Great chance in front, and Vanacek comes up huge, denying Kiefer Bellows.
Well, Bellows all alone in front. Devils getting a little sloppy in their own zone. Islanders picking up the pace. That's a big glove save as he fights it off. The quick wrister by Bellows right in front.
Good puck battle between Dawson Mercer and Ryan Polak, and Polak bumps Mercer, the 2nd-year forward, off the puck. Rolls all the way back to Jonas Siegenthaler, just coming off a great defensive season. Not going to be a big point getter, but was really solid on the back line for the Devils last year.
Was rewarded with a 5-year contract. That's how much the Devils brass thinks of Jonas Siegenthaler.
Sorokin turns away Holtz. It's 1-0 Islanders early on.
Season, but he also made some changes behind the bench on head coach Lindy Ruff's staff, adding the additions of Jack Adams finalist and Andrew Burnett, of course, Ryan McGill from Vegas, and even promoted Sergei Brelin, who typically watches these games from above, but there's an extra assistant there, and they said how much of a benefit that is, having that extra guy on hand. And really, the voices in the room has been the biggest benefit for this team. All veteran coaches, a lot of experience there on that coaching staff now. And in talking with McGill today, he said that Ruff has really embraced them all getting their voices in. And while it is Lindsay that has the final say, they all work together, and certainly making special teams one of their main missions this season. Guys?
Yeah, Eric, it was fun to see how hands-on Andrew Burnett was with the first power play unit today at the morning skate, really jumping into things. Jack Hughes wristing a shot just wide of net as he was taken down hard by the all-star Adam Pelech. Hughes said he worked on his strength more this offseason. Really feels like he can be an 82-game player. Waiting to see those 82 games from Hughes. His injuries last year limited him to 49 games.
He took a pretty solid hit from Pelech as he threw him to the ice after the quick wrist shot. That Pelech got a stick in the lane, but yeah, I agree. Jack Hughes is a very confident young guy, and he sees the ice so well. And you understand, I think, your 3rd, 4th year, you come into the league here and you've got some experience. You understand what situations you can put yourself in and how you can kind of avoid some of those heavier hits. But he was in on a scoring chance. He was a little bit off balance when Pelech ran into him.
And, you know, Everyone at this level is an athlete. I love when people say, oh, this guy's an athlete. They're all athletes here in the NHL, but Jack Hughes is something just a little bit different. There was a video a couple weeks ago out of a media tour in Vegas where he was juggling a soccer ball on skates with a helmet on. Talked to him last week, and he said he had never done that before. Someone just tossed the ball out, and all of a sudden he's kicking it around, and he looks like he'd been doing that his whole life.
Oh, very talented young man. We know that, and he's got that little extra, that fire in his eyes. He wants to be the best, and he wants to win.
Miles Wood works it across to Simone Nemec. Now Dawson Mercer banging at it. This is that Wood, Mercer, Haula line, a line that's very intriguing, but Lindy Ruff said he wants a lot more from them than what he's seen the last couple of weeks. Scrimmages on Friday and Saturday. He said he thought they gave up a few too many opportunities going the other way, so looking for a two-way game from that group.
Yeah, when you put lines together in camp and you try things, you think they might work, and sometimes the chemistry's not there, and he wants a little more from them. I like the accountability right out of the gate from head coach Lindy Ruff, saying, you're three guys that I'm going to rely on heavily, but you've got to even be better, even in practice in certain situations. And you mentioned defensively, but we'll see if it works. It certainly has a lot of potential to be a good line.
Devils looking to break out. Here's Yegor Sharangovich, rising wrister, bangs off the glass behind net. 1-0 Islanders on a Nikita Soshnikov goal, 8:04 in. Hamilton gains the zone and leaves it for Fabian Zetterlund. Another guy who's got a very good chance to make this team out of camp. Can be a real good two-way forward for the Devils, but here he spills it away to Kyle Palmieri. A 3-on-2, Palmieri for Bellows. Stop up, and Vanacek smothers it. Already the third save for Vitek Vanacek in his Devils debut.
Kind of the turning of the franchise, and first time we made the playoffs, but a great score. And I know how excited he is for his son to be in this game.
Ledoux with a rising shot, nearly deflected by a high stick from Ratu. Comes the high slot, Palmieri delays, he shoots, and Vanacek fights it off. A lot of traffic in front of Vitek Vanacek
there. A little pump fake from Kyle Palmieri, the veteran. We've seen that a lot here when he was a member of the New Jersey Devils, putting the puck in the net. But the Devils stayed in their lane, and I think that was deflected wide. He had a great chance in the high slot.
Bastian blocked Ledoux's shot, and Devils are in the offensive end with Geertsen still only about 2.5 years into playing as a forward. Came up as defenseman, made the move a couple of years ago when he was in the Rangers system. Bellows can't clear it out. Geertsen's back on top of it, takes a bump again from Kiefer Bellows. Bellows has said this week he wants to be an 82-game player this year, played a career-high 45 last year. And when you talk to Lane Lambert, he said the key is consistency. Kiefer Bellows has all the pieces to be an everyday player here at this level, just needs to do it consistently. Palat trying to set up Holtz, and he overshot him with the pass. Holtz centers for Palat. Big save, Sorokin on the redirect.
Right in front, you see Sorokin able to handle that tip and leave no rebound, but Palat had Holtz right in front. I think that puck was rolling. It was stuck against the wall. There's the opportunity we take a look at as Holtz just throws that puck. You see, he took a peek before he made that play. He saw Palat going to the net, and he was in tight on Sorokin. But prior to that, Palat had Holtz wide open in the high slot, and he just couldn't quite get it to him, or it was going to be a great scoring chance. Like I said, that puck was rolling against the wall.
There's young William Dufour on the puck. Already has an assist today. How about 56 goals, 60 assists in only 60 games at the junior level last year. Just prolific scoring in the Quebec Junior League.
And Dufour certainly has the offensive capabilities. He's also a big, strong kid. And that will serve well here when he's part of the New York Islander part of the New York Islanders big club one day, whether it's now or in the near future. Might need some seasoning in the AHL in Bridgeport, their AHL affiliate.
Again, good depth at the forward position for this Islanders group. You really don't need to rush any of these young guys along. Haula drops it for Mercer, and he snaps one on. Sorokin's there. Save number 4 for Ilya Sorokin. Still 1-0 Islanders early.
Over this last week and a half of training camp as a special advisor to the team. Coming up on the New Jersey Lottery First Intermission Report, Eliash will join me. We'll discuss his role with the New Jersey Devils and also some other things he's been up to in retirement. So don't go anywhere during that first intermission. Guys?
Thanks, Erica. You could do a lot worse than Patrick Eliash as an advisor for 10 days here at the start of training camp.
It's been great to catch up with Patrick the last few days. here at the Prudential Center, and always love seeing him. What a gifted player, smart hockey mind. Working with some of the young kids along the way as well can never hurt, because Patrick Elias was just an incredible two-way player, and it's everything that he's accomplished here as a member of the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, this might be a good time to talk about one of the things that you and I think is a big key this year. Speaking of two-way players, has had some bashings in the offensive for the Islanders. When you talk about the improved defense Devils need this year, we're not just talking about defensemen. We're talking about the forwards playing two ways as well. And there's one way forward for Igor Sharangovich, banging it in. Devils on the board.
Well, it's Sharangovich tying it up in usual Sharangovich fashion with that shot. Time now for our $1 million replay, brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery. Remember, anything can happen in Jersey. And we're going to watch just kind of a broken play a little bit. Puck's in the skates, but you see that quick release in the high slot. He rips it past Sorokin. And this is what Sharangovich can do. He can beat goaltenders from distance. He doesn't need a lot of leverage. Boy, did he get that off quickly. That is your New Jersey Lottery $1 million replay as the Devils tie it at 1.
Feels like he's still looking to find his home, his line this year that's going to be a fit for him, but he is a guy the Devils feel comfortable putting in a number of different spots. Before Igor Sharangovich so rudely interrupted us, we were talking about the forwards playing two ways this year effectively for the Devils.
Sharangovich with that goal interrupted us, but love to see it. He had 24 goals last season, and he's such a terrific kid. Loves to score goals, loves to play. He's going to be a big part of this team and core group moving forward. But yes, it's defending as a 5-man unit. Getting to your point there, Bill, as far as the forwards have to be more responsible on a consistent basis to help out the defense, help out the goaltenders, and I think that's going to be an emphasis with a lot of the new coaching staff, in particular Ryan McGill, whether it's on the PK or 5-on-5. It's when you're in your own zone, get the puck back quickly so you can get it to your strengths, your speed, and your guys up front that can create offense.
Here's Pelech blasting on. Vanacek fumbled it and dives on top to freeze with 3:36 to go on Sharangovich's goal. The assists officially to John Marino and Fabian Zetterlund, who's making his case to make this roster.
And you see Nemitz in front, a little pushing and shoving. You like to see that abrasiveness from the youngster there, Sharangovich. I want to congratulate him and his lovely wife, Dasha, as they're expecting their first child. So good for them. It's an exciting time for him. But I mean, his smile is infectious. He's just a kid that when you see him walking in the arena, you know he just wants to play. He wants to have fun. He wants to score goals, and he continues to get better and better. Yeah, there's some inconsistencies and ups and downs, but he had a real strong second half of the year. And when you have a guy that can shoot the puck the way Sharangovich does, you just don't need as many opportunities. Put it in the back of the net. That was an elite shot against one of the best in the game in Sorokin that he beat to tie this game up.
There's Hamilton up top. Rister through traffic, score! And Plinkoed off bodies it in. The Devils lead.
Well, Dougie Hamilton pitches down the half wall and just fires that puck toward the net. I think it might have been deflected. There was a lot of traffic, as you mentioned, in front of Islander goaltender Sorokin. But this is something I always like about Dougie Hamilton. He knows how to get pucks through. He gets it through quickly because especially against the Islanders, it's going to be tough to get pucks through. I'm not sure if that hit Geertsen off to the side. One more look at it. Might have deflected off that right leg a little bit, and then it hit the inside of the post. And just like that, quickly, the Devils score 2 goals back-to-back and take a 2-1 lead.
Well, whether Geertsen deflected it or not, he should get some serious credit for being that big net front presence, and that's how the Devils need him to play this year if he's going to make this team.
Yeah, and I'll say it time and time again. He may not be in the lineup every night. He may be down on the AHL affiliate, the Albany or Utica Devils, excuse me. But having said that, you're going to need him on some nights. He's big, he's tough, and a lot of the young stars for the Devils team, when they have him in the lineup, teams maybe don't play quite as hard against the Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier, or shall I say maybe don't take liberties, because Geertsen's one tough man and he's a pretty smart player and contributed to that goal. We'll see.
Hall is centering, Mercer hacking at the rebound, and Sorokin does enough to fight it off. Josh Bailey was in there defending as well, playing good two-way forward slot for the Islanders. There's an Oliver Wahlstrom takeaway. Wahlstrom, the lone Islander to play yesterday, to get back in the lineup today. You don't see much of that in the preseason, but Dana, you and I were talking. This is a big year for Wahlstrom. The Islanders are expecting more from him this season.
Yeah, and there's always little messages. Let's look at the goal one more time. The quick wrister from Hamilton. I still can't tell if that went under the leg or maybe just nicked the pen.
They're giving it to Dougie Hamilton officially, so no contact for Geertsen, but he provides the screen as you see Sorokin, a couple denials.
There's
there.
A great opportunity right in front for Mercer that Sorokin makes a save on. Devils have really come on here offensively, and they've started to pepper the Islanders here as they score 2 quick goals. And like I say, Dougie Hamilton just with the quick wrist shot, but Geertsen, that big net front presence as you mentioned. Dougie up the half wall. It's simple. He always seems to get the puck through, the shots through, and he's got that shoot first mentality. You like that from the big defenseman.
Again, he's averaged close to 40 points a year over the last decade. He was never 100% healthy last year, and that affected how he settled in his first season. You mentioned earlier, he embraced New Jersey, stayed in New Jersey for all but a week this offseason. At some points was the lone Devil here in New Jersey, in the gym, working out hard and getting to know the area a bit as well.
Yeah, get acclimated to the area, the team again, and sometimes it takes a year to really feel comfortable in a new environment, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Dougie Hamilton can do this season for the team for a 82-game schedule.
Sharon Govich is offside. Hamilton has some extra reinforcements with him on the back line, including John Marino, who's already picked up an assist today. Marino, part of the Ty Smith trade. He came over from Pittsburgh. Really rock-solid defensive defenseman last season. A goal and 24 assists, played 81 games for the Pens.
Well, a few years ago for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they were awarded him with a long-term deal because he really fast-tracked his career. He played so well on the back end for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he is exactly that. A good, steady, mobile, puck-moving defenseman. He will join the attack. He can contribute a little bit offensively, but he's very good with his stick defending, and you can't have enough guys, and you need 6-7 defensemen. You need depth that can really play sound in their own zone. There's so much skill in this league now, Bill, on every team and lines, and Marino's one of those guys that skates well enough, headmans the puck well, and uses his stick. You have to have a good active stick to break up plays, and he does that extremely well.
Into the final minute of the first period, Islanders scored first, Nikita Soshnikov, but the Devils have answered with back-to-back goals from Yegor Sharangovich and Dougie Hamilton to claim the lead. Here's Michael McLeod, Nathan Bastian streaking in, and he whistles it wide. Smith throws it on. That is deflected out in front by Seth Helgeson, who played 50 games with the Devils from 2014 through 2017, now with the Islanders. There's Bastian in the corner. Geertsen throws it through. Marino keeps it alive up top. Final 25 seconds of the opening period.
Well, it's been all Devils the last 5-6 minutes of this period. It was the Islanders prior where they were kind of taking it to the Devils in their zone, took a 1-0 lead, and now the Devils with a couple of quick goals and a lot of offensive zone time and opportunities on goaltender Sorokin for the Islanders.
It's a good change of direction from McLeod, who gets it back with 2 seconds to go in the frame. One, and there is the opening horn in preseason game number 2. 2 goals for the Devils over the last 8 minutes. Have them on top 2-1. Stay tuned for the first period intermission report presented by
22-23 Black and Red full season membership. Gain access to the most comprehensive benefits program in sports that includes exclusive player events, priority ticket access, and so much more. To learn about joining the Black and Red, visit NewJerseyDevils.com/Black and Red. And here at the Rock, the Devils leading the Islanders 2-1 thanks to a couple of late goals. And this guy knows a thing or two about goal scoring. Patrick Elias did it often. And your role as a special advisor here. Just want to get your quick thoughts on that first period and how important it is for a guy like Sharangovich to get that scoring touch going early in the preseason.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't like the first 10 minutes or 12 minutes of the game at all from our guys. It seemed like they couldn't get going, no pressure whatsoever in the offensive zone, and even a little sloppy on our breakouts. And so that leads to no puck possession. And obviously the goal helped. You could see that all of a sudden they start going, feeling a little bit better every line. And for Sharon, as we saw the commercial, it's important. You know, you obviously look at back last season, he was struggling in the beginning of the season. And from the guy that's got to be a big part of his team, you need him to feel good coming into the season right from the get-go. And he's such a talented player. He's got all-around game, very hidden shot as he showed again. And so we're going to need him right from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and to your point there, hopefully that they'll come out stronger here in the second period, because it did take a while for them to tilt that ice. But I love your breakdown there, because, you know, you're teetering that line of, you know, complimenting a player, but also making sure you're honest with them. And is that how you approach your role as an advisor here? Been the last 10 days here with camp. You head back tomorrow, but a lot of guys look up to you.
Well, I kind of, you know, I'm a kid in my heart, so I like to have fun. Even on the ice, and obviously when I'm around them in the locker room, and I feel like they're comfortable to say maybe some other things than what they would say to coaches.
Sure.
And I'm honest with them. I joke around. I can be, you know, I can tell them some of the negative stuff, but at the same time, not being disrespectful to them whatsoever. And that's the best way I liked when I was approached as a player. So hopefully they take it, you know, to their hearts, and honestly, like I mean it. And we need it, you know, we need this team to make that next step.
Yeah.
These young guys are no more young. And so we need them to make that next step for them to get the experience, to look forward, and for the fans and for this organization.
So let's talk about some experience now that the young guys do have, but we've also brought in a lot of experience this offseason. And you have to start with a guy like Ondrej Palat, Stanley Cup champion several times. Do you know something about that? You know him very well, having played with him the World Championships and the Olympics.
Yeah.
What can he do for this group overall, not just on the skill that he brings to a game, but the daily and the grind of a practice and how to really be a champion?
Little things what he has learned, what he does on the ice and off the ice, his approach. You know, he's a professional. He has learned from the best. He's a champion, and that you cannot teach. And hopefully the guys can follow him. We need it. We need more players like that. And even in that first period, he's one of the guys that he does those things right, a lot of things right from the get-go. Doesn't matter if it's a first preseason game. That's how you start. That's how you get yourself ready for the season. And I believe he's going to be a big part of this, hopefully, turnaround.
Yeah, that is the hope, and that it motivates the younger players around him as well. You talked about feeling like a kid, being out here with the boys during training camp so far, and I'm sure that rejuvenates you. But what else have you been up to during your retirement? How are you enjoying it?
I love it. You know, I come in and out to the States a lot, you know, be part of this organization. I love it. I'm so appreciative that they give me the chance to still be part of this organization. And but I'm sure there's going to be opportunity to come back into hockey, whether it's here or whether it's back in the Czech Republic. And I brought a friend of mine who's Václav Varada, who's an ex-player. He's been here kind of looking and getting a little bit of a feel of what it takes to be a coach in NHL. And I consider him as a great friend and the best coach that we have in Czech Republic. So I'm sure he gets a job at some point, and I'll be right there with him.
Oh, I love hearing that. And it's something for all of us to look out to. Patrick, thank you so much for the time and stopping over here. And we love it when you're back in Jersey.
Anytime. Thanks.
All right, lots more to come here on the New Jersey Lottery. First intermission report, but it came after Yegor Sharangovich found the back of the net at the 15:24 mark. Just over a minute later, Dougie Hamilton tacked on another goal to give the Devils the lead. 0 for 1 on the power play. We have not yet seen the penalty kill in action here in that first period of play, but we'll see how the Devils come out, as remember, this is a big audition for so many players out there, and also veterans are looking to find that touch as they gear up for this new campaign. So let's take a look at how the rest of the preseason will unfold. 7 games in total tonight, game 2, and then Thursday and Friday, back-to-back games against the New York Rangers. Thursday, our Rangers crew will have the call from the Garden on MSG SN. That is the new name of MSG Plus, and where you'll be finding your Devils games all season long, including Friday when we return here from the Rock, and our crew is back at it, a 7 o'clock puck drop against the Blue Shirts. And then 3 on the next week, including the Boston Bruins here Monday night, October 3rd. And then it is the Isles once again on the 6th. That game on MSG with our Isles crew. And then Saturday, the 8th in Boston. And then we're back at it. October 13th is where this season kicks off in Philadelphia. The 15th is our home opener. So lots to look forward to over these next couple of weeks. And we've got a lot of hockey to look forward to tonight. 2 more periods to go here at the Prudential Center. Don't go anywhere.
His first year, 31 his second year, and really it was only injuries that kept him from a huge season last year. Dano, 49 games played, 56 points. So you do that math, if he can be healthy for an entire season, you're talking about a 90 to 100 point season. And he's talked about the other growth in his game. He's looking to provide a little more as a two-way player, gotten a little stronger as well, and all that should help him stay healthier over the course of the season.
I think just naturally you become a man from 18, 19, now you hit your 20s, now his 4th year, and we saw it last year. He has that great skating ability, one of the best puck possession forwards in the National Hockey League already, which creates offensive chances in the offensive zone. But Jack Hughes is putting a lot on his shoulders. He believes in himself, he's confident. I love that about him. He's a guy that he knows he can get to that upper echelon as far as offensive numbers in the National Hockey League, which in turn helps you win hockey games. But he wants to be more of an all-around player, and that is the natural progression. And we've seen a lot of good things from Jack Hughes, certainly last year. But you're right, health is a big one. Health's a big one for every player in the league. You hope he stays healthy for an 82 games, and we will see where he finishes at the end of it. What I love about him, he wants to win. That's what it's about first and foremost, whether he has 70 points or 100 points. He hopes that adds up to a lot more wins and a possible playoff spot.
Well, you want to talk confidence. What he wanted to talk to me about last week after we talked about what he'd done in the offseason, things like that. I joked about how his training partner Trevor Zegras got on the NHL video game cover before him. He's more upset with his ranking. He thinks he was underrated at the video game ranking, so he's looking to prove the game raters wrong this year. And he's also said he's trying to take on more of a vocal leadership role as well. Of course, he's had the A, and now 4 years in, feeling more comfortable to be more vocal.
He has the potential to be a star if he's not already a superstar, but he's just a young kid that the progression, every player is different for top players, and but you always they have that different aura about them. And, you know, talk about the McDavids and the great players of our game. Those guys just, you can see how much they believe in themselves, and Jack Hughes is no different. He has that, but he knows he has to continue to improve, and the team has to get better. That's the first and foremost on his mind.
Soshnikov from Dufour for the Islanders to open the scoring in the first period. Devils answered back with goals from Yegor Sharangovich off the assist from John Marino, and Dougie Hamilton off the assist from Jonas Siegenthaler and Michael McLeod. Now the Devils have that H2O line. That's the fans have already started calling them. That's Holtz, Hughes, and Palat. And there's Jack Hughes putting one in. Beautiful feed to set him up in front.
Right on cue, Bill. You talked about what this line might be able to accomplish, trying to find some chemistry. That's what preseason's all about. And they find Jack Hughes right in the slot, wide open, and he rips a wrist shot past Sorokin. It's a board battle. 2-on-2, Devils end up winning it. Look at this pass from Alexander Holtz as he gets that loose puck, spins around. He knows where Jack is right away before he even got that puck. That is just a real good heads-up offensive play by Holtz. You saw Palat as well in the area digging for loose pucks, and the Devils come up with a board battle win, and Jack Hughes right in front makes it 3-1.
Well, we've heard Erica talking a lot about auditions. This is a big audition for Alexander Holtz, and there's a good play to show on film for the coaches as he looks to make this team. That line's still out there. Hughes at the dot, all the way across for Hamilton. Pass is broken up by a good stick from Ryan Pulock.
Well, Jack had a shoot first mentality a little bit more. We know he's a playmaker and a creator as far as offense goes, but he shot the puck a lot more, and he's got a good wrist shot. And as he gets stronger, you talked about that at the opening of this period, that just the maturity, and not only as a leader, but physically as he becomes a young man, and he's shooting the puck pretty crisply. He certainly did on that shot. One more look at it as they win a battle. There's Jack Hughes right in front. Look at this shot. far side past Sorokin. Perfectly placed, just over the blocker. Devils take a 3-1 lead.
Well, I think you saw what that line can be. It was Palat who started that wing on the boards. Holtz digs the puck out. They both get assists on the Jack Hughes goal. And boy, the Devils have turned this game around. At one point, Islanders were out shooting the Devils 4-3. Devils now out shooting the Islanders 11-5. Here's Wahlstrom ripping one that's deflected up into the netting. Oliver Wahlstrom with a good look at goal as the Islanders look for a spark after Jack Hughes' first goal of the preseason, nearing 50 career goals through his first 166 games.
And those are pretty impressive numbers. We know as an 18-year-old, it can be trying, and certainly the Devils, as your team gets better, top players get better, but it has to be done collectively, and Jack Hughes continues to get better, and that's what the Devils continue to lean their hopes on with all these young guns, improving the game and the veterans that they've added. That's why they went out and got them. They believe it's time. It's time for these young players to take that next step and not just be in the league and be good players in the league, but start to become a contender, and certainly at least make some noise and become a playoff team. And how do you get there? Well, you got to sprinkle in some key veterans like Palat. That's what the Devils did in the offseason, which they hope will help along the way this year.
Yeah, Lindy Ruff has said, we're not a young team anymore. That is not an excuse that they want to hear. It's been a good shift for this Islanders second line, centered by the 19-year-old Ratu, just looking for some offensive possession. I mean, you look at this Islanders squad, they have not had much in the offensive zone at all today. There's a guy who knows a thing or two about the Islanders. Thomas Hickey played 456 games for the Isles. He's here on a pro tryout, still living on Long Island. He said after driving here the first day of training camp, realized, I'm taking the train. So he takes the train into New York, then hops on New Jersey Transit, comes on down to Newark.
Well, the trip could be by car, hour and a half or 4.5. You never know at any particular hour or any time of day. Having said that, a veteran guy, you cannot have enough depth. You never know during the season. We know how injuries are so prevalent throughout so many lineups in the National Hockey League. Hickey's an experienced guy, was a high draft pick way back with the LA Kings, 4th overall. And, you know, has done a pretty good job in the National Hockey League. He's a steady, stay-at-home defenseman that moves the puck well.
All right, that's icing again on the Islanders. Look at this offensive zone time from the first period. That tells the story even more than the shots on goal. Devils had the puck in the offensive end for nearly 6 minutes of the opening 20.
That's a big discrepancy, and certainly the Devils had picked it up because the Islanders had a stretch there where it looked like they had the Devils reeling. They scored the first goal. Devils got a little sloppy. Islanders hemmed them in their own zone, but quickly the Devils, once they scored, they started to find their legs, find a little more balance amongst lines and reading off of each other a little bit better. That's what training camp and preseason games are all about, Bill, is, you know, just finding your legs and your timing. And you're going to see both teams sloppy through stretches of games, but the Devils have really picked it up, and that zone time, big indication of how they played, especially that last 8 minutes of the first and to start this second period.
Yeah, in fact, Vitek Vanacek has not had to make a save in more than about 10 minutes of game time here in his Devils preseason debut. 4 saves on 5 Islander shots for Vanacek. At center, McLeod takes a whack at it, comes on back to Sebastian Aho. It's a top line out for the Islanders. Josh Bailey playing along the dashers. Loops all the way around, slip past Hughes. Bailey keeps it in the offensive end, trying to spin it back forward. Rolls away from Beauvillier, and we have a penalty coming, a trip.
Looks like Gerritsen going to the penalty box for that trip just inside of the Devils' blue line. So the Islanders will get a power play down 3-1. As you see, the nice little move from Wahlstrom spins away from Gerritsen. And he gets the leg right in behind the left leg of Wahlstrom there. So we'll see what the Islanders' power play has here. The Devils want to continue on their special teams as well this season, and the penalty kill gets an opportunity here.
You know, until that penalty, I was going to say Mason Gerritsen was having a standout game today. That fourth line of Gerritsen, McLeod, and Bastian has been very good.
And they've had some chances in the offensive zone as well. It's a big line. I'll always repeat, Bill, and I say it many times where some people say, well, this guy's more talented, that guy's better, you know, in camp. But it's not the 12 most skilled guys that make a team. It's the 12 guys that fill roles, voids in the bottom six, you have different elements to your team. Gertson's one of those guys I always speak highly of because he brings an element that not other Devils can, and that's big, tough, rugged hockey and also making sure that your young stars like Hischier and Hughes have a little room out there and aren't taken advantage of.
After Cholowski's shot went wide, Dawson Mercer pitched it down the ice. Mercer and Haula, the first two Devils out on the penalty kill. Islanders power play as Fashing along with Bellows, Cholowski, Ratu, and Palmieri. This is Palmieri high on the point.
And one thing I was impressed with last year when Gertson was in the lineup, besides the physicality, he didn't take a lot of careless penalties. That's one thing he doesn't do. And I'm sure he's a little disappointed himself getting that leg stuck out on Wahlstrom and taking the trip, but he's always been pretty positionally sound in his game. And he's there for his teammates when he has to answer the bell, but he can't take unnecessary penalties. He knows that.
Palmieri got ran into trying to gain the zone. Nathan Bastian knocked him back. So just 38 seconds left on the Gertson tripping penalty. Islanders looking to really get this power play established, and they will have no success. Sharangovich takes it away. He's off shorthanded. Sharangovich slides it across. Outstanding dive back by Sebastian Aho to break up a 2-on-1.
Sharangovich had an option there, shorthanded. Does he take the quick shot from a sharp angle? Well, maybe the better choice shorthanded, but I liked his vision. He saw Dougie Hamilton coming late, took a peek right there inside the Islander blue line, and he would have had this pass and probably scoring opportunity, although Beauvillier was coming back hard. But Aho makes a nice play, a dangerous play for his goaltender as he goes crashing into Sorokin, and the net goes flying as well. So Sharangovich, I want to see Sharangovich shoot at all costs because he can rip it. We know that.
Seen that already today.
But he did take a peek. He saw Dougie coming late, tried to create a play. Aho makes a nice defensive play on the Islander blue line.
15 seconds left on the Isles power play. They have not gotten much established on this shift. Coming across for Wahlstrom, who drew the penalty, taking the trip against Gertson. Spilled all the way back out to center. Mason Gertson escapes the box. And the Islanders come up empty with no shots on goal on the power play. Still 3-1 Devils, a little more than 6 minutes into the second period. Here's Fabian Zetterlund again. Zetterlund diving through the slot into the corner. He was delayed getting to the U.S., had some visa issues, got here Friday, told me this morning today was the best day of the year when he woke up and knew he was going to be in the lineup for a hockey game today. And again, he's a guy Lindy Ruff has talked a lot about. They really like what he brought to the team at the end of the season last year.
He brings a little bit of snarl around the net. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty. He's got some skill, can really shoot the puck. And if you haven't seen him, he is built like a tank.
Holtz's shot blocked. That was Matt Martin standing strong. Comes all the way back out to Thomas Hickey again. Palat spinning it around. Pulock takes it away. Wide for Zizekas, so it's a tough, awkward wrister, and Vanacek freezes the puck. Devils add one more. Jack Hughes makes it 3-1 on this power play.
Yeah, a little reach there. Not a whole lot, but just enough to give Haula a little bit of a slash right there and penalty. And he wasn't happy with it, but preseason, the refs are probably going to call it close to the best. I like your point you made earlier in the hockey game, but Haula's never missed the playoffs in his 9-year career, I believe. And, that in itself is experience, and he can lend a lot of that to these young Devils. That's what it's all about. You play to play in the playoffs, and then eventually, if you get to the level of a contender in a Stanley Cup championship.
Islanders did not have a shot on their first power play. Here's Aho getting it in deep to Wahlstrom. Joined up there by Beauvillier and Dufour along with Josh Bailey, top unit today for the Islanders. Here's Beauvillier again, now 25 years old. He skips his pass across to Bailey. Bailey will hit 1,000 games if all goes well in the first month of the season. Vanacek denies a snap from Wahlstrom, and it is cleared away by Bastian.
That was a beautifully set up play. The Islanders zipped the puck around. And that's a set play for Wahlstrom in the high slot. The one-touch pass from Beauvillier. And Wahlstrom, we talked about it in pregame. He can blast the puck as well. That was a big save. It looked like he might have got a piece of Vanacek's mask, but Wahlstrom could score from out high. Boy, did he let that go.
Here's Dennis Cholowski. Back to Ratu. Cholowski again. Ratu's one-timer, and Vanacek sticks it away. So Vanacek getting a little busier here over the last couple of minutes, now up to 7 saves. Zetterlund out 2-on-2. All kinds of speed from Fabian Zetterlund, still on the puck, sticking it on Sorokin, who keeps it moving.
He's a buzzsaw out there. Look at him. Keeps those legs moving, gets an opportunity. PK does a good job killing time and going down the wing.
Down to just 20 seconds left on the Islanders' second power play of the day after the slash on Haula. Dawson Mercer giving a good turn on the penalty kill. Second year for Mercer, who played all 82 games last year, and is another one of those Swiss Army knife guys who can stick in different spots in the lineup.
And Bill just, you know, reminiscent, talking here about camp and all these young guys and guys battling for jobs, and if they're not in the top 6, maybe in Utica, but it gets you excited, right? Because how does your team get better? There's going to be guys that fans will be surprised with. I can't believe he's not starting with the Devils or starting in the opening night lineup. Well, that means your organization's better. You're deeper. There's bigger. There's more competition. And you've got to earn everything. That's how you push each other.
Yeah, real decisions for the staff to make. Pulling a snap. Martin put his hands up, but Vanacek has it covered up. All right, maybe the biggest move of the entire offseason for the Islanders was the promotion of Lane Lambert into the head spot, named on May 16th after Barry Trotz was let go, was on the staff the last 4 years, and then the 4 years before with Washington. So not a major cultural change, an internal fill. Lane Lambert knows these players very well.
Yeah, good for Lane Lambert. He gets his opportunity. He's paid his dues. Long time assistant coach as well. And who to learn better under, and then implementing a little bit of your own philosophy, but who better to learn under than Barry Trotz? Barry Trotz's been one of the best coaches in the National Hockey League for many years.
All right, here's a familiar face for Devils fans. Corey Schneider has taken over for Ilya Sorokin at the midway point of this game. Schneider has had an excellent career, played just 1 game last year for the Islanders, who are blessed with incredible depth at goaltending with Sorokin, Varlamov, and now Schneider as well. But Corey Schneider, big career with New Jersey, and before that, Vancouver. There was a time where you could argue that he was the best, if not one of the best 2 or 3 goalies in the NHL for a couple of years.
Yeah, great to see Corey. Saw him down below before the hockey game. And boy, I tell you, when the Devils just unfortunately didn't have real good teams his first few years here, because he was one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League for a stretch there, no question about it.
Here's Cizikas pulling in, save Vanacek, who hugged the post well with McLean bearing down on him, and now Simon Nemec with the clear. How about this first period, Devils ice time leader? Young Simon Nemec played more than 7.5 minutes.
I've been impressed with him. Just the poise for an 18-year-old kid. You can tell. There's a reason he went number 2 overall. He really has a nice presence out there, just real steady. Knows when to move the puck, when to hang on, when to make a play. And you see there as he backs off and makes a nifty little pass to Sharangovich in the neutral zone. But, you know, there's going to be a learning curve, and it might take some time. Well, that was Marino, excuse me there, I think. But having said that, I've liked what Nemec has done so far in his first game. And regardless of preseason, nothing on the line, it's nerve-wracking for an 18-year-old kid. I go way, way back, and believe it or not, I remember my first game in Hershey against the Washington Capitals, and I was a bundle of nerves, but it was a great experience.
Smith controls for the Devils. And let's talk a bit, because you were in a similar situation in Nemec, where you were a high draft pick coming up as a teenager, hoping to step into the big club right away. And you know, the debate of going back and forth between the AHL or the NHL. What kind of value do you see in AHL time for Nemec if that is the decision at the end of this game?
Well, look, there's always a learning curve. We know that, but because he played in the Pro League in Slovakia, and I know it's not the National Hockey League, but he's played against men. So I think he has a little bit of a jump start compared to a kid that played junior and dominated. So he's had a lot of international experience, played in Slovakia. Yeah, he's probably going to need some time in Utica, but I think he's a guy that you could expect to play some games this year if need be, and not only play, but play well.
There's Pollock up top. Geertsen blocked the shooting lane, and Pollock just throws it into the corner. There's Hamilton shoveling it out to Mason Geertsen again. The Geertsen-McLeod-Bastian lines played good two-way hockey today, and you know, in the preseason, you never know what these line combos are going to look like, but there'd be a fourth line you wouldn't think was a rough fourth line if you rolled it out on opening night either, with Geertsen, McLeod, and Bastian.
Yeah, no, that would certainly keep the other team honest, and they play to their identity and finish their hits and just play a solid checking game. Contribute offensively when you can, because we know McLeod's speed, he can, and Bastian had some success on the power play as well in front of the net. But it always can be a disruption to the other team when you've got a physical line that finishes their hit at every turn.
That's icing on Nemitz. So a mistake at the end, but he read the play so well there to intercept Dufour's pass at the beginning. So seeing both the pros and the cons of young Simon Nemitz on that possession.
For a young defenseman, for any young player coming in the league and playing his first game, it's a fine line. You want him to be free and confident and not be scared to make a mistake. So you're going to make mistakes. He's 18, he's young. It's going to take some time for him to develop and be, you know, a real good defenseman in this league. And it's just when that transpires. But like I said, I expect it to be sooner than later. But there's something to be said. I don't care who you are, where you're drafted. Getting a little time in the with your AHL affiliate, because it just dangles that carrot, makes you a little hungry to get up. Sometimes when it's too soon, too quick, something handed to you, unless you've completely earned it, then it just doesn't motivate you as much. I'm not saying that with Nemitz, I'm just talking in general. But I'm real excited about him. I think he's going to be an excellent defenseman for many years here in New Jersey.
As Holt's looking to get his way around, and Soshnikov stood him up. Soshnikov still the lone goal scorer for the Islanders. He started the scoring. Devils have rattled off 3 goals in a row. Sharon Govich, Hamilton, and Hughes have all found the back of the net for New Jersey.
Just want to make one more comment about Corey Schneider. You know, he was here in New Jersey for quite some time, as long as the Canucks, and still doing it with the New York Islanders as a mentor to some young goaltenders, whether he plays in Bridgeport or here when needed if injury. But he is one of the nicest guys, nicest men you're ever going to meet, and just class through and through.
Speaking of class, how about that skating from Hughes? Feeds the point. Marino's shot nearly trickled in. Schneider fights it off into the corner. Palat fires this one all the way back, but there is that top-end skating and speed and skill from Jack Hughes.
And when the puck is on his stick, you just feel something good's going to happen, or he's going to create an offensive opportunity. He just sees that ice so well, that great skating ability and edge work, twist, turns away from the checker in the offensive zone. You think you've got him, and he makes something out of nothing, and every team needs a elite player like so many good teams do, top teams have, and Jack Hughes continuing to take strides to being that for the Devils.
Siegenthaler at center. He was on the wrong side of the red line, but icing is waved off. Zetterlund overskated it, allows the Islanders a chance to break out. That pass, though, too tall, and Siegenthaler's back on it again. Now Brian Pino, likely on his way to Utica in a few weeks after spending most of the last 2 years in Hershey. Pino slides one all the way across to Sharon Govich in the corner. Good pinch up from Dougie Hamilton to keep it alive. Zetterlund, high slot. He is just a pest when he is on the ice. Zetterlund barreling in deep on Schneider. Schneider keeps it out at full split and freezes the puck. Nearly a highlight reel goal from Fabian Zetterlund.
Nice job by Corey Schneider to stay with it and seal the bottom of the ice with the right pad. But watch, after that one, I love that puck's all looks like it's covered up. I think Schneider had it. Zetterlund's still looking for loose puck. He's digging for it. That second and third effort that you need from certain players in your lineup on a consistent basis.
Yeah, again, coaches aren't always the fastest to name names, and he asked them about guys that are on the peripheral and trying to make the roster. But Lindy Ruff has been frank from the first press conference of this training camp that he thinks Fabian Zetterlund's a guy who can make a serious impact with this group if he jumps at the opportunity, and so far so good today for Zetterlund.
Yeah, you're seeing the determination, and that's what you need in camp from young guys with the competition we talked about. You know, you're playing for your lives right now. Regardless if it's a meaningless game in the standings, it's certainly meaningful to a lot of players. And yeah, veterans maybe more so about their timing and just finding their hands in their game. But these young kids battling for the spot on the roster, you've got to earn it. You've got to take it from somebody.
Schneider gloves that one from Haula. We've also seen Andre Palat, one of those veterans you mentioned, just trying to kind of get his legs here early in this season. See the regular season numbers of 49 points in 77 games, but he has always been a clutch goal scorer, big in the playoffs, and he'll be in a different role here. He was on the third line a lot with Tampa, likely in a top scoring line here with the Devils.
Yeah, and if he happens to be on the line with Jack Hughes, they've looked pretty good here so far tonight in their first preseason action along with Holtz. And I expect those numbers to go up a little bit for Palat. But I don't always look at the end of the day too often. You say, well, he only had 40 points, but he had 70. But what are you doing to help your team win? That's the most important points. And Palat does a lot of intangibles to help your team win. And you hope he can teach that to a lot of the young core here.
Hickey bluffs the slap shot, trying to take it around the corner. Behind goal, Brian Pino's on it there. Zetterlund and Sharangovich round out the line for the Devils, centered by Pino. As Sebastian Aho, the fourth-year defenseman, pitches it out through center. And this trickles all the way back down to Vanacek. He freezes and takes some snow from Nikita Soshnikov to freeze play with 3:09 to go in the second period.
Now you see Soshnikov going, my bad, but he had no choice. He stopped and gave a little snow spray to Vanacek there. Kind of late, but I don't think he had any other option. But Nemitz, you like to see a little shout because he's saying, don't do that to my goaltender.
All right, 15 saves on 16 shots yesterday for Mackenzie Blackwood. Now 12 saves on 13 shots for Vitek Vanacek. Been a bit busier here in the second period. What have you liked from what you've seen from him and what you saw from Blackwood last night?
Yeah, I've liked Vanacek's rebound control when he's been tested. Obviously, Soshnikov got the scoring going on a terrific wrist shot, far post and in. So I think that you got to give credit to where credit's due, and that was to the shooter. But so far, so good. He's been sound. I know the Islanders haven't had a ton of quality opportunities, but I like the fact that he's really controlled his rebounds. And there really haven't been second and third opportunities off the first shot.
Here's a good opportunity for Palmieri, and Vanacek's there, and he controls the rebound once again.
Again, one and done, but a great one and done. Big save by Vanacek there, 3-1 Devils.
During the second intermission report, Jesper Bratt, one of the Devils who is getting the night off after playing in last night's exhibition win in Montreal. And you see him there alongside his brother, Philip. So we definitely want to get his take on what it's like having his brother here at camp with him. He'll be joining me, and we'll also hear from Alex Holtz, who we've talked a lot about throughout tonight's game and this audition for him. We'll get his take on his second period of action next.
All right, thanks, Erica. Looking forward to that one. Right now it is the line of Haula, Wood, and Mercer out for the Devils as Beauvillier rings one off the crossbar for the Islanders. And now here's Wood. He is healthy, and he is fast at the start of the season. He finds Haula. Haula shoots and scores! Welcome to New Jersey, Eric Haula off the assist from Miles Wood.
Now we see it so often. The Islanders with a great scoring chance. At one end, Beauvillier with a nice move, rips a backhand off the bar. Devils go the other way in transition with speed. And Miles Wood drops it to Haula. He makes a really good play here. Watch this as he pulls that puck, goes to the net, and the quick backhand to forehand and chips this puck upstairs. Past Corey Schneider, short side. Excuse me. One more look, that's far side. This is a terrific play and shot by Haula. Well, I was right the first time. It was
trust your instincts.
He got it up so quickly there, Bill. I was uncertain if it was far side or short side, but terrific hands there in tight.
Well, we told you Lindy Ruff had kind of challenged this line coming into the game today, but the one thing he said he really liked about that line is he thought it let Miles Wood use his speed effectively, and his speed is what opened that play up coming off the hip injury. Miles told me today he feels 100%.
Look, sometimes it takes certain guys a little longer to get going in camp, or certain lines for that matter, but they hadn't created a whole lot so far in this game. But all it takes is one shot with the speed of Wood and Haula coming the other way after a good chance by the Islanders, as you see a few words exchanged here in front of the Islanders net. Well, just after the Islanders backhanded one off the post, Beauvillier, Devils go the other way. Miles Wood backs off the defense because of that speed you're talking about. Drops it to Haula, and he goes upstairs, and there's don't know, who is that crashing into that bat?
That was Pellick clearing Bastian out, sending him right into the net. Yep.
It was covered, but Bastian not too happy. Big Gertson out there, a lot of beef with Matt Martin. Few words exchanged. Cooler heads prevail.
Teams see a lot of each other the next few weeks. Play in Long Island in about a week's time, and then again on October 20th, second week of the regular season. They'll meet for the first time in the regular season. It's a hand pass. Freeze play with 81 seconds to go in the period, which on paper has been played a bit closer. The Islanders have had a bit more zone time than period one. Shots are a bit closer, but the Devils have scored the only 2 goals, including Erik Haula, who has made the playoffs 9 times. It's not like he's done it with one team. He's been a journeyman, but wherever he has journeyed, he's found success.
Yeah, no, he certainly has. And all those little things, the intangibles I talk about, are important to lend that experience on a daily basis, not only in games but in practice, to this young Devils group. But as Lindy Ruff said, they're no longer just a young group of potential. They've got to think further and believe that our time is now.
Well, Palat takes a high hit from Palmieri, and that's going to be whistled for a penalty. Palmieri caught Palat up near the face, and the Devils will go back to the power play with 52 seconds to go in the second.
You see the former New Jersey Devil Kyle Palmieri. A little beef with the ref, but you see right here kind of a forearm shiver. It wasn't as high as it looked initially, but he did kind of wrap him up.
Yeah, you know, full speed, that looked like that was contact toward the face or the head. It may have actually been the shoulder, so Palmieri may have had a bit of a beef there, but either way, the Devils go back to the power play for the second time.
And all these moments in a preseason game are important because you're getting reps, you're getting looks, the power play, you know, trying to get set for opening night.
Top unit out there again. Devils did not really get the power play set up the first time they had the man advantage. Did not record a shot on power play number 1. Here's Dougie Hamilton. He scored 1 of the Devils' 4 goals today. 2 of the Devils' goal scorers out there. Jack Hughes on the ice as well. Hughes to the outside for Dawson Mercer. And Mercer passes up top, nobody home.
Yeah, good stick in the Islanders zone. On the penalty kill there to deflect it out.
I think it was Cizikas who got a piece of it. Now Hamilton on top of it. Hughes stepping into the dot. Hughes delays. Pass flips up and flutters to Palat. Hughes dummied it all the way up top to Dougie Hamilton. 10 seconds left in the period. Hughes with 8, skips over Hamilton. 6 seconds to go in the second frame. Holtz has it with 3. Hamilton puts it on off Palat. Sent back in front and cleared away. There's the horn. So a built-in clearance there at the end of this power play for the Islanders. Power play will carry over to period number 3 as the Devils are in control 4-1. And coming up, we'll have Erica with Alexander Holtz and Jesper Bratt in the second.
His goal. We talked this morning about how confident you are feeling entering tonight's exhibition game. How important is it for you to get yourself on the score sheet as you try to really pave your path here as you fight for a spot on the roster?
Thank you. Yeah, like you said, I tried to fight for a spot there. I want to show my best game out there. It was nice to, show my passing ability a little bit. So, yeah, nice goal by Hughes, and I think we have more to give, though.
You have more to give. Well, we are seeing that you're making the most of that opportunity playing on that top line as we take a look at that pass right there. You had some nice passes throughout this game and connecting with both Hughes and Palat. Just what are you making of that chemistry you're building out there and the opportunity here to play on that top line?
I think we're building chemistry from every practice, every game we play together. So Palat is working hard in front of the net and all over the ice. So it's easy to find him. Same with Hughes. He's everywhere and he can find plays.
All right,
mostly everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we wish you the best of luck here in the third period and keep it up.
Thank you.
Lots more to come here on the second intermission report as the Devils continue to put the goals in the back of the net, and that's something we saw number 63 do all the time a season ago. Your key to the Rock is here. Download the official New Jersey Devils and Prudential Center app to access your tickets and stay up to date on all New Jersey Devils and Prudential Center events. To download, visit NewJerseyDevils.com/app or PruCenter.com/app. And welcome back, everyone, to the Prudential Center. Erica Wachter, pleased to be joined by Jesper Bratt. Jesper, great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's game out there, but you were in action last night in Montreal, and just as we become so accustomed to seeing, you find yourself right back on the score sheet. What did you make of your first preseason game?
Oh, it was good. Obviously great to be back, and I mean, it's been a long summer, and it's a time we've all been waiting for. So it was great being back, and obviously today being back here at the Rock, watching the guys play is awesome. But can't wait to be out on the ice with the guys.
Yeah, and before we know it, it will be the regular season getting underway in just a few short weeks. You talked about the off season, and we know it was long, but can you fill us in on what exactly you've been up to, how you enjoyed yourself, and also we know you were training with Alexander Holtz.
Yeah, no, it was great. Obviously, right after the season, went back to Stockholm to see my family and spent a lot of time with them, and but then it was right back to work. Obviously, a lot of things that I felt like getting in the season, team-wise and individual-wise, that I wanted to improve on, and it was just get right back to work when the summer came along, and it was a great summer. I spent a lot of time working on the small details that make a big difference, and obviously, like you said before, I spent the summer training with Holtzy, so it was good.
So when you look at your game, how did you decide what you want to improve on? Because when we're watching you, you know, you put together just a career year, so much fun to watch. We know you signed a one-year deal here with the Devils. How do you approach this season in terms of wanting to improve and continue to take that next step? Because last year was so electric to watch.
I feel like I can always get better. There's still a lot of things in the season that I feel like I can improve on, and obviously things that I did a good thing on that I want to continue doing. So every summer for me is just adding those small percentages that makes a big difference in a game. And obviously my shooting and my goal scoring is something that I was working on a lot, and try to be an even bigger offensive threat. I mean, I want to create scoring chances every time I'm on the ice, and those are stuff that you can work on in the summer. So it was good so far.
A bigger offensive threat. We love the sound of that. We're getting excited just thinking about it. Now, this has to be pretty cool for you because during camp, your brother has been here. What is that like, just to look over, you see, you know, your little brother, the guy you grew up playing hockey with you here in this building, and you're watching the game together tonight? Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's such a special moment, and I think I said it before too. I think it gets cooler and cooler every day. So just coming here to a rink every day and see my brother there is awesome. And I think he did a great camp too. I'm proud of him, and I know he's excited for the season coming up, and he's excited for even more too. He's been working really hard this summer, so I'm excited to follow his journey.
And certainly he's got a great role model to look up to, someone to aspire to be. Jesper, we look forward to seeing you out there on the ice here at the Rock soon enough, and we thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much.
All right, when we return here from the Rock, we'll run you through the second period scoring summary as the Devils now have a 4-1 lead over the New York Islanders, and then third period action coming your way soon. Pick'em plans for the 2022-23 season are on sale now. See the best games on the best days, all on your schedule. For more partial plan options, visit NewJerseyDevils.com/partial plans. And here at the Rock, the Devils extend their lead after 40 minutes of action. The score now 4-1, New Jersey on top, and that period was bookended by a pair of goals. Jack Hughes opening up just 52 seconds into that. His line mates, Alex Holtz and Andre Palat, picking up the helpers on that one. And then Eric Haula, one of the new Devils, getting the back of the net here with just 2.5 minutes to go there in the second period. Miles Wood and Dawson Mercer with the assists on that play as New Jersey is out shooting the Isles by 2, and there will be 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining on the man advantage for the Devils to begin the third period. And as we enjoy this preseason hockey, let's take a look ahead to the regular season schedule, which gets underway in just over 2 weeks. On Thursday, October 13th, the Devils open up the season in Philadelphia against the Flyers. That game will be on ESPN+. So our crew will debut for our home opener Saturday, October 15th against Detroit, 7 o'clock on MSG. And then 2 of the next 3 games are here at the Rock, including Anaheim on the 18th, Another game on ESPN Plus, that one on the island. And then it is San Jose coming into town for our first matinee matchup of the season. So we've got a lot to look forward to. You heard from some of the players throughout the night, including most recently Jesper Bratt, who is ready to be an even bigger offensive threat. We like the sound of that. We'll see how the Devils' offense and defense fares in the third period as they try to go win number 2.
Went big on free agency and trades, which seemed to impact already with Erik Haula scoring a goal today. Andre Palat's picked up an assist, as has John Marino. Again, the only really big offseason acquisition for the Islanders was the trade for Alexander Romanov, who played yesterday against the Rangers, took today off. He will bolster the defense, though.
He will. He's going to help the Islander defense, and exactly what Lou Lamoriello and most of his teams have been built on, and they're expecting a much better year from them, even without a lot of noise in the offseason of the Devils. We've talked about it all game long and in pregame. Some veteran experience, guys that have won, guys that have been in the playoffs, guys that just know how to handle different situations. I always talk about situational play during a regular season as well, as far as the time on the clock, the score. Guys like Palat make the right play with the puck the majority of the time, and that can really go throughout your lineup and your bench as far as watching how he prepares himself, what he does, whether leading, whether down, just how to play the game to win hockey games at the end of 60 minutes.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot over the course of this day about how this is an audition for a lot of these fringe players that are fighting to make this roster, fighting to not have to go back down to the AHL on both sides, on the Devils side and the Islanders side, and maybe even more so than a regular season game where the score is getting a bit lopsided. Every shift for those guys amplified here as coaches break things down and try to make that decision of, are you going to stay up with the big club or are you going to start the year at the AHL level?
I talked about, especially if you're a young guy, regardless if you played a year or two or 50 games in the National Hockey, you've got to earn everything, and so every shift matters, certainly come preseason. And now, maybe 3 years ago, you'd have guys in the lineup that weren't even ready to play in the National Hockey League for the Devils because they didn't have depth. They didn't have a lot of young, good prospects. But now there's guys that have played 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, guys that are knocking on the door. And we've seen what Bohlquist did last year. He took strides with that great speed. Nolan Foote wants to be here. A lot of guys would like to be in the Devils' opening night lineup or at least on the roster, but there's going to be surprises because you're going to have to work your tail off, and it's going to be a tough decision for the coaches. That's a good thing. That means your organization's getting better.
It does. Good depth, and it may mean guys like Akira Schmid may not need to play between the pipes this year. He was thrust into that role as one of 7 goaltenders last year to play for the Devils, and he is in for Vitek Vanacek. Vanacek 13 saves on 14 shots in his first preseason game with the Devils. You know, one of the things Tom Fitzgerald told us when we chatted with him today is that one of the best things about having the goaltender depth, if everyone stays healthy this year, is Nico Daws and Akira Schmid get a chance to really develop in the AHL. They think very highly out of both of those guys, but don't want them thrust into an NHL situation at this stage of their career yet like they were last year.
Yeah, as the Devils try to set up Mercer for the one-time shot in the high slot, similar to the Islanders' PP and Wallstrom.
There's Holtz taking a rip on. I remember the penalty carrying over from Kyle Palmieri.
Bill, I'll tell you, we talked about how well and comfortable Mackenzie Blackwood looked in the first half of yesterday's game in preseason. That's a good sign moving forward. I thought Nico Daws played well there again, and he was thrust to the fire, thrown to the fire, shall I say, last year. And boy, he took great strides, and nobody expected him to be, probably not even himself, in the National Hockey League and playing as many games, but he's shown great potential. I thought he played really well the second half of the game against the Canadiens last night as well. 2
shots on the power play for the Devils as we're back to even strength. Good pass there by Holtz again, but as it bounced off Dawson Mercer's stick. Here's Palmieri out of the box, finds Beauvillier on the drop back in there. Is Schmid turning it aside. Yeah, you don't want to read too much into preseason games, especially the first couple of the year, but you feel like you can get a pretty good read on where your netminders are even in the first couple preseason games, and that read for the Devils has been very positive so far.
Look, it might be up and down with your goaltending in preseason at times because they're no different. They need to get their timing, their angles, all those kinds of things. Their rebound control sometimes takes a game or two, but for a guy like Blackwood, who was injured most of last year, or especially the second half, you want him to be feeling good about himself and comfortable right away. And he certainly showed that in 30 minutes of action yesterday in Montreal.
Devils hockey is presented by RWJ Barnabas Health, the official healthcare provider of the New Jersey Devils. And it is the Devils who lead 4-1 in their preseason home opener. Looking to go to 2-0 over their first 2 preseason games. They were split squad, an entirely different 20 skaters today than the 20 who were on the ice in the 2-1 win at Montreal yesterday, as Schmid covers up with Josh Bailey bearing down on him. You know, we look at the numbers for the Devils last year, and they scored at a decent clip, but obviously just too much getting into the back of the net. 31st out of 32 in the save percentage. So those were where a lot of the offseason acquisitions were meant to address. Shore up the goaltending, shore up the defense as well.
Yeah, I mentioned about 5-man units, so the forwards are going to have to be more accountable, more responsible, accountable to each other in the room. But I think that's going to be an emphasis as far as when you're on the defensive side of the puck and you're in your own zone, don't take off, don't cheat. You can't win if you don't defend. Yes, you want to get the puck back quick so you can create some offense the way the game has evolved. The Devils have a lot of that speed. There's a penalty by Brendan Smith. He took his man in hard in the boards, and he gets up slowly.
So Smith takes down Soshnikov.
Soshnikov, I wasn't sure who went into the boards. He went in pretty hard, and it looks like he'll be okay. Fortunately, you don't want to see anybody get injured. Anytime preseason, he's a little off balance, but Smith, you know, gives him a little shove from behind, no question. They've got to call that to keep the game safe. So the Islanders go on the power play, and on the flip side, I want to see Brendan Smith and a lot of the defensemen play with a little of abrasiveness, a little attitude as well, more often than not. But that one deserved a penalty.
So it's boarding on Smith, third power play for the Islanders. They are 0 for 2 with just 2 shots on their opening 2 power plays. Here's Ryan Pulock, 27 years old, out of Duffy in Manitoba, in his 8th season with the Islanders. Here's Ratu, again, guy they're very high on. Centering toward Palmieri, got tied up by Siegenthaler, and that allows Schmid to gobble up the puck. Just look at those Isles numbers from last year. Again, they were a defense-first team. Didn't score a ton of goals, but had the 4th best penalty kill, 3rd best save percentage as a team, top 7 in goals against. That led into a 5th place finish in the Metropolitan.
And they didn't make the playoffs. Look at that, save percentage, 3rd in the league. Goals against, top 10 in the league, 7th, I believe it's set there. I don't remember all the numbers, but it is a fine line of being a team that gets into the playoffs and what it's all about. But the Devils have to improve in a lot of areas. We talked about the goals against, and certainly the goaltending in particular, but special teams in particular as well. Ratu have to be better.
Ratu turned away by Schmid in tight. Still minute 15 left on a power play that's had a bit more traction than the Islanders' first 2. Already a couple more shots on this man advantage for the Isles.
From a positive note, Bill, and as tough as it was last year, and looked at how many of those numbers were too close to the bottom of the National Hockey League, you improve. It's not by leaps and bounds. You improve all those statistical categories by a little bit. That's going to add up to 10 more wins for sure. And then if you improve it dramatically, well, then you become a team that can maybe vie for a playoff spot.
Good stick forward by Holla to knock it out. And now John Marino, defenseman, up forward here on a penalty kill with 35 seconds left on the Islander advantage. Yeah, the margin's so tight in the NHL right now. Almost 65% of the games last year were decided by either 1 goal or 2 goals with an empty netter added in. That's how close the margin is from good to bad in the NHL right now.
And it can turn quickly from year to year. You can pick up 20, 25 points more. If things go your way, you play a better game and you improve some of those statistics we talked about and showed.
Sharangovich for Mercer, and Mercer had it knocked away. Schneider gobbles up Sharangovich's rebound. That's a scary couple of penalty killers who can get going the other way shorthanded quickly.
Yeah, Dawson Mercer had a terrific rookie season last year, but the second go around's tougher. So you want to make sure that you see Mercer going hard to the net, tries to get to that puck, and then Sharangovich spins around, and quick wrister Schneider covers up easily, makes a save. But Mercer, the second time around, it's going to be even that much tougher. I mean, he's diligent on the puck. He's a relentless, tireless worker, but it's not going to be as easy maybe the first year. Players know him as well, and they expect Dawson Mercer, they know who he is and how talented he is, that they're going to play him even harder. So he has to make sure he doesn't slip whatsoever, and in fact takes that next step because what a great year he had.
Devils perfect.
Initial year.
Devils perfect 3 for 3 now on the penalty kill. It's the Palat, Holtz, Hughes line. Here's Cizikas behind the defense. Cizikas in, and he rings it off the left post.
Puck just rolled off his stick, and he still ripped it off the pipe. What a terrific pass. I have to see who made that pass. Devils got caught a little bit there. I think it was on a line change. But having said that, nobody picked up Cizikas, and it was right on his tape all the way from his own zone.
Well, Dan, if there's one major red flag for the Devils to look at on tape here, you look at the Soshnikov goal, and now that chance for Cizikas. Both guys got freed up by long stretch passes behind the defense. That comes all the way down off the post next to Schneider on the other end.
A little scary, almost rolled up on the stick. There was a little opening between his pad and the left post. But that was a great play, and we're going to look at that replay, I hope, because I want to see who made that stretch pass you talked about. You just can't take a split second or your eye off the puck or looking behind you. It's Pelech with a great pass. That is a great pass. Splits the defense of Hamilton, and Nemitz, Cizikas off to the races. Watch, puck is on end a little bit. See, just rolls on him. He can't quite get all of it, but he still butterflies a shot off the right post.
So Dan, those were defensemen that weren't with their usual pairing mates. Hamilton's been playing with Siegenthaler.
There was a changer, what I was talking about, and you get turned around a little bit. Usually you want them to be staggered a little bit. One guy ready for that long pass, but they got caught. Great play by Pelech, and the Devils get a break with the post.
Here's Miles Wood, who picked up an assist on Eric Halla's goal late in the second period. Good takeaway from Ratu. Plays very physically as a second-line center at just 19 years old. You can tell he's gotten a taste of that top level of Finnish hockey already.
He's got some size to him as well. And again, talking to my former boss prior to the game, which was really nice to catch up with him. And just we reminisce about the same stories over and over, and we love it because we accomplished something with a group of guys for, or shall I say, 3 times winning the Stanley Cup. But when I talk to Lou Lamoriello, he always talks about the tough meetings he had with me, and I always reminisce about it. We get a chuckle out of it now, although they got heated at times. But he talked about Ratu, and he said he's big, strong, and a real competitor, just the way he likes him.
Ratu has McLean with him.
I said that right. Ratu, correct.
Ratu, that's right. You did, all over it.
You know, it's preseason for us as well, Bill, and I know you're on top of pronunciations and names, and you're going to help me out, the veteran.
Ratu spelled R-A-T-Y for those keeping track at home, as we have another Devils penalty coming. So the penalties piling up on the Devils.
Maybe gone a little split second long. He gets the interference call, but I like you players, and he's a forward coming down low, helping the defense out, clearing the crease, taking the man. So that's a touchy penalty to me. I don't mind that.
Do you think there, Dano, it wasn't necessarily the initial contact, it was that he kind of finished the check after the puck trickled away there?
He's such a big, strong man that a lot of times the referee sees a guy go down, they're going to call it. But when it's in the defensive zone and you're clearing your crease or the side of the net and a possible scoring opportunity, you got to kill these penalties for whether it's your defenseman or Geertsen there, as we saw Nemitz in front at the time as well. But yeah, the refs are going to call things in the preseason because they're getting the cobwebs out as well. They want to make sure they're on top of their game, but I think they call a little too much.
Here's Pulock blasting, sliding block. That was Zetterlund, who's been all over the ice today.
Yeah, that shows a lot right there in a preseason game.
Bellows, rising wrister.
And Pulock, who can really let it fly.
Bellows skipping it into the slot, backhander off Schmid's upper body and into the corner.
Schmid's come in here and done a good job early on in the third period here for 8 minutes. He's made some big saves.
Minute left on the Geertsen interference penalty. Here's a blast from Palmieri, and Schmid got it with his stick. Second save of this penalty kill. Islanders looking for their first goal on their 4th power play. There's Pulock again, he bluffs it. Palmieri tees up Pulock once more. Here's Pulock, letting it go again, and that bangs off the boards.
This time McLeod went down to one knee, but that one eluded him, the shot that is, and he can fire it. He's got one of the harder slap shots in the National Hockey League. But you saw the courage of Zetterlund prior. He made a big block.
That's one
on the penalty kill.
Once it goes wide, Michael McLeod breathes a sigh of relief that that one missed him there.
Yeah, that was part of my game, and way back, and there's certain guys you see wind up and you go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I have to do and go down, try to block it, but you just pray and hope it doesn't hit you.
That was back before helmets and pads, right?
Certainly no shields, so you had to turn the head, make sure you don't get anything near the facial area. But I give Zetterlund a lot of credit. He's had a strong game here. No, he's not on the score sheet, but he certainly has had opportunities. Big block there on the penalty kill, and so far so good for him.
Islanders fall to 0 for 4 on the power play as Geertsen's out of the box again. 10:50 to play, third period. 4-1 Devils looking to go to 2-0 in the preseason after Nikita Soshnikov scored the opening goal. Devils have rattled off 4 in a row. Sharon Govich, Hamilton, and Hughes got the scoring started for New Jersey, and then Hollis scored the 4th. Oh, great chance for Paul Ledoux, and Schmid met him with the blocker.
Yeah, he's really been sound in net, good positionally, makes another good save. And let me correct myself. Zetterlund did get a secondary assist on the Sharon Govich goal, so he is on the score sheet with a point, but I've just been impressed with the little things he's been doing in this game.
Holtz, 2 good chances in tight, and Schneider keeps him out. Now we have a penalty coming on the Islanders for cross-checking. That's been a big emphasis these last couple of years.
Well, I've had a third period where both teams have picked up the pace, got some scoring opportunities. Now the Devils will go to the power play. Here's the save we were talking about by Schmid right there off Ledoux, who comes in the high slot, gets a good quick hard wrist shot off, and this one's just funneled toward Corey Schneider, but Holtz is right there for the rebound on the backhand. He gets cross-checked down, and by Ledoux, the guy that had that wrist shot earlier on Schmid. So the Devils with the power play up 4-1, 10-14 left in the hockey game.
Ledoux trying to make this Islanders squad on the blue line. His 6th NHL season, 2nd year in the Islanders system, played 1 game in the NHL last year, 60 games in the AHL with Bridgeport. Devils back to the power play for the 3rd time. They start with the 2nd unit. Haula out there with Zetterlund, Sharon Govich, Wood, and Nemitz getting power play time. Haula's blast deflected, save Schneider. And Pollock takes it away for the Islanders and will wedge it down.
Good puck movement, quick release by Haula, and you saw the good right pad save by former Devil Corey Schneider.
3 shots now on the power play for the Devils today on their 3rd power play of this game. Wood pressuring Pollock. He's got time, and Pellick takes it now. Chance to burn it down the ice. He does.
They'll say that quickly 10 times. Pollock, Pellick. I mean,
I know they don't make it easy on us pairing them together there, huh?
Sorry to interrupt, but it just was on my mind with those 2 guys out there, and they were quite a pairing for the last few seasons. I know at times not last year, but I mean,
yeah,
they were a heck of a duo. One of the best pairings in the league during those good playoff runs for the Islanders.
And it's back up to Wood. Pellick coming off an all-star season for the Islanders. Here's Haula down low, surveying. Eric Haula to Fabian Zetterlund. Haula gets it back, looking to set it up for Sharon Govich. It was broken up by Helgeson. Sharon Govich gets it again, and Schneider's ready for it. It's another save. 2-on-2 the other way. Beauvillier with a full head of steam. He's into the offensive end. Beauvillier shouldering down. Backhander is deflected off the lumber and up into the netting. Defensive zone draw for the Devils with 36 seconds left on the power play.
Well, I think a lot of Devils have had a good showing so far in this preseason game against the Islanders, but no one more so than Zetterlund again. Makes a nice backhand pass and behind the net, then it goes up top. Devils get another scoring chance, so he's had a strong game. I've liked the Hughes line. A lot of guys, you know, getting ready, and veteran guys that know they're going to be here, but the young guys in particular that have to get noticed. Zetterlund certainly has been one of those guys.
And you start doing the math. If Zetterlund's going to make the team, somebody's going to miss it, and it's going to be a very tough decision process for Tom Fitzgerald, Lindy Ruff, their staff, to get down to the number they need for the opener. Hamilton to Hughes, and he fanned on it, losing an edge. It's a great setup from Dougie Hamilton. Trying to get it back to Hughes. Aho breaks it up. Hughes dives for it. 2-on-1 the other way now. Kyle Palmieri has Fasching with him. Palmieri delays and rips it wide. Everything but the finish there.
Yeah, nifty little move and toe drag by Palmieri to get that shot. But Dougie Hamilton, all six of them in that long reach. I think he got a little piece of that, or that might have been in the net as he deflected it wide of Schmid as Palmieri put himself in a good scoring position with that toe drag.
8 minutes to play in the 3rd period. 4-1 Devils, and play is called back. 6 men on the ice. So the Devils may have been caught with too many men. We'll fill you in.
He'll be joining us right after the game. We'll get his take on playing alongside Jack Hughes and Alex Holt in this one, and also just what it felt like to be out there on the ice for the first time as a New Jersey Devil. Again, that's coming your way right after the conclusion of tonight's game. Guys.
Erica, thank you. And one of the things that Lindy Ruff has talked about, Nico Hischier's talked about, is how Nico has been able to bring in some of these veteran voices. He's not threatened by other leaders in the room. He brings them in, he takes from them as well. And Andre Palat, certainly one of those voices he's taken from. Quick update on Nico Hischier, by the way, left the game yesterday. Devils say with cramps. He was evaluated today, will continue to be evaluated. And Lindy Ruff said he's had some good conversations with him, thinks he should be back in the preseason. But as he said at the end, as a caveat, with these things, the way the game goes, you never quite know for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to take any risk whatsoever, but we want him back sooner than later. He's such an important part of this team. Unless you watch Nico Hischier on a nightly basis, and obviously not everybody watches certain teams. I'm talking in the hockey media of the world, but you don't appreciate him until you watch all the little things he does to help your team win every shift on a nightly basis. And yes, he had a great offensive year for him, and I think that's going to improve, but we want him healthy for sure. So he's one of many keys for the Devils. And I'll add this as well when you say about leadership. Well, yes, he's such a great guy, and he's going to evolve into that captaincy, but he needs help. And all the great teams I was on, we had, oh gosh, I'm going to go with 8 guys that were part of the leadership that made a big difference, guys that you really leaned on heavily. And Nico needs support. He's got some from general manager Tom Fitzgerald in the offseason with the acquisitions, free agent signings as well.
Bit of a different line combo here as Bailey takes a whack at it. This is a power play for the Islanders. There was a too many men on the ice call heading into the break. And it's being served by Pino in the high slot. Oliver Wahlstrom rips it wide. 5th power play today for the Islanders. They still haven't scored, and those last 40 seconds or so may have been the best 40 seconds on the power play for the Islanders.
Well,
today.
Bill, I was going to say the Islanders are, it's a shooting gallery. They continually were firing away. Some hit the net, some didn't, some were blocked. And Schmid made a couple of saves, but somehow, some way, they just can't find the back of the net. They've had plenty of opportunities here in the third, or at least in good scoring positions.
There's icing on the Devils, so bring it back to the New Jersey end for a draw here as they lead 4-1 with 5:42 to go. There again is Fabian Zetterlund as an assist today. Again, came up late in the season after Jack Hughes was injured near the end of the year to fill a roster spot. 8 points in those 14 games and left a really big impression on the Devils staff with how hard and how well he played down the stretch.
Yeah, well, one moment here.
This is ripped wide by Soshnikov, centering toward Pellick. It is banged back away. Now Miles Wood on the puck. Wood knocks it along, and Nemitz playing minutes in key spots today for the Devils. He's still 3rd on the team in ice time, clears it out through the neutral zone.
Yeah, and you know what? For a young defense, we talked about the nerves and playing your first game in the National Hockey League preseason, but you can notice a lot of the strengths to his game, and a lot of it's his smarts and just understanding the game and being able to play a good, sound, two-way game, show a lot of poise. I think he's acquitted himself pretty well here in game 1.
Agreed. Here's Casey Cizikas. The Cizikas, Martin, and Dufour line had some good chances early, not as much over the last couple of periods as Hughes breaks out the other way. Andre Palat back for Hughes. See if they can get Alexander Holtz in a good scoring spot. He had a couple of goals in the scrimmages the last 2 days playing with Hughes and Palat.
I think Holtz has done a good job on the top line as well. We talked about the real nice assist he had on the Jack Hughes goal earlier in the hockey game, and he's done well. But yeah, you know, everybody wants goals, goals, goals. Had a real good year in Utica last season.
Ratu well defended by Brendan Smith there, taking him away from goal and slamming him into the boards. Ratu applying pressure on Smith again. He gets it out to John Marino. The two Devils newcomers paired together today on the defensive group. Second defensive pairing for New Jersey. Here's Helgeson. Lost it. Wood centers. Halla's denied. Good feed from Miles Wood, who's starting to interchange pretty darn well with Eric Halla here.
Puck turned over in the Islander zone. Halla wide open in front. Miles Wood finds him. And Corey Schneider's done a pretty good job in net. He's only given up 1 goal, and he's had to make some big saves as well.
Yeah,
that was point blank right in front of him.
You know, we talked about getting a read on goalies early in the year. Here's a good chance in front, skips away from Sharangovich. Well, Varlamov gave up 4 yesterday, all 4 goals that the Rangers scored on the Islanders, 4 goals on 20 shots. And Sorokin today tagged for 3 goals on 15 shots. So
yeah, he doesn't do that too often in the regular season.
No, not the best starts for either of those two, but again, nothing to make you think that there's anything to be worried about in the back end for the Islanders yet.
No, I wouldn't worry about certainly not Sorokin. He's one of the elites in the net. And it's only preseason. Some goaltenders got to shake the rust off, shall I say, like anybody. Not to say that the goals were all his fault. Some were, in screened. But he's one of the best in the game.
Siegenthaler outlets forward. Here's Mason Geertsen. Again, this fourth line, Geertsen, Bastian, and McLeod, at least in the first period, may have actually been the snappiest line for the Devils. The other 3 lines have picked up a lot of the scoring since, but good minutes for the McLeod, Geertsen, and Bastian line today.
Yeah, they've done what you like to see out of them.
Beauvillier puts it on, and Schmidt's there again. Akira Schmid, 9 saves. Mercer off the stretch pass, in on the break. Dawson Mercer's denied.
Oh, baby. Oh, end-to-end action. Both goaltenders come up big this time on a breakaway. Great outlet pass by Siegenthaler to Mercer, leading him on that breakaway, and goes to the backhand. Corey Schneider makes a big save there.
Devils' speed, those breakout passes are such a big part of generating offense, and Siegenthaler put that one right on the money. Back now to Brendan Smith behind goal inside the final 2 minutes of the third period. Devils will get a couple days off, play the Rangers Thursday in New York, Friday back here at the Rockets. Column blast, and Schneider got a piece of it with the toe.
I'll tell you, Corey Schneider's looking pretty sharp in the net. And again, Halle down the left side, wide open, walks into one. And a left pad save by Corey Schneider came way out to the top of the crease.
It's good to have goaltending depth. You got to imagine there's a team out there that would love to have Corey Schneider in more than a third goaltender role, and maybe some phone calls will be made toward the Islanders front office if Schneider keeps playing like this over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, well, knowing what he's done in his career, and maybe there's one last gasp in there, because as far as being an NHL goalie, but Schneider's look sharp.
There's a chance to also mention Jonathan Bernier, the Devils' third goaltender, another veteran like Schneider. He is ahead of schedule in his comeback from injury last year. He's been practicing regularly here and could add some extra depth to the Devils' goaltending situation.
Hey, what have we seen the last 3 years? And you just can't have enough depth in goal. Teams have used 4, 5, 6 guys at times. Devils 7 last year, and they didn't have the goaltending they needed. But let's not forget about Bernier. Whenever that time may be, he's ahead of schedule. You never know. You may need the veteran as well.
Sharangovich sets up Zetterlund, and Schneider makes one more strong save in the final 30 seconds. That's redirected by Pino over the crossbar as the Devils are buzzing for one more here late. Soshnikov opened the scoring for the Islanders. Devils roared back with 4 straight. Sharangovich, Hamilton, and Hughes at the start. First 3 goals for the Devils. That kind of opened the game up. And then Halle scored the 4th late. Here's Zetterlund, final 6 seconds. Fabian Zetterlund, strong audition for him today as he fires this one into the net with 2.8 to go.
He's playing to the final whistle. Gains the Islander blue line, but Ledoux deflects it out of play. But I just like he keeps the legs moving, churning, keeps the skates going. He doesn't quit on a play, and he's got that Tasmanian devil attitude, I'd like to say.
I like that. That is a really good way to sum up the way he plays.
Go, go, go.
Yep.
Keep it going. And you need those kinds of energy guys, but he's got skill as well.
Well, it's just 2 games in the preseason, but 40 different Devils have played, and the Devils have netted 2 wins. 2-1 yesterday in Montreal and 4-1 over the Islanders today in New Jersey.
They say in preseason you have to play them, you might as well win them, but I think for teams like New Jersey, who have been a playoff team very much in the last 10 years, it's important to feel good about yourself and your team. I know it doesn't mean a thing in the standings, and each team dresses different lineups, but good to see that they've got off to a good start and a good feeling, winning a couple of hockey games. You always play to win, and no matter what time of year it is.
And a good quick turnaround after what was a shaky start for the first 10-15 minutes today. Really controlled the middle portion of the game.
They did, and found a way to beat Sorokin a couple of times after the Islanders opened up the scoring, and the Islanders really, had about a 5-minute stretch where it looked like they could take the game over. The Devils got some good goaltending from Vanacek to keep it 1-0. Then the Devils score 3 goals in the second, and the rest was history, as it was 3-1 at the time, and then they went on to win 4-1. Shall I say 2 goals the second, 1 in the first to tie it, but nonetheless, a strong effort for the most part.
All right, we'll bring you the 3 stars of the game here. Lots to choose from. 4 different goal scorers for the Devils, 2 different netminders, with Vanacek stopping 12 of 13, and Akira Schmid doing the rest with a very good third period performance. Did not give up a goal, made double-digit saves. There is Vitek Vanacek, so I think we got a safe bet that he's going to be one of those 3 stars there.
Yeah, good effort by Vanacek, and especially when you come to a new team, you want to start off strong. He had a good game after giving up the initial goal of the hockey game to Soshnikov on a real good wrist shot.
Vitek Vanacek.
So Vanacek is the 3rd star, 12 saves in his Devils preseason debut. So he and Blackwood have combined to stop 25 of the first 27
from
shots.
The Devils, number 7,
Dougie Hamilton scored what stood as the game winner, 2nd goal of the day for the Devils.
Typical Dougie Hamilton fashion, pinches down the wall, just quick release to net.
The 1st star from the Devils, number 56,
and Eric Holla, who scores his first Devils preseason goal in preseason game number 1, is the 1st star. Well, strong start to this preseason for the Devils. They take down the Islanders 4-1. When we come back, we'll hear from Andre Palat after his first game with the Devils.
Night over the New York Islanders, so that's back-to-back exhibition games on the 26th and the 27th of this month, and they come away with 2 wins. So now we have another back-to-back coming your way on Thursday and Friday, both of those games against the New York Rangers. MSG SN 7 o'clock at the Garden with the Rangers crew, and then we'll return to our coverage here at MSG SN 7 p.m. at Prudential Center Friday night. And then just like that, October is here. 3 preseason games to go before the season opener in Philly on October 13th. Andre Palat chipping in on this Jack Hughes goal. That was the 3rd of 4 on the night as the Devils take down the Isles 4-1. We'll hear from Palat after a quick break.